You know, the newspapers are just literally they don't care. You know, they might as well. I think the newspapers might as well just film themselves robbing a shop. You know, and saying, "Oh, look, we can rob a shop and get away with it," or actually have the editor of the newspaper drive a car through a shop window or something. Just they literally are walking on the street, singing "La La La, we're breaking the law." They might as well release a song, with Nicola Brooks or whatever, or Rebecca Brooke, whatever, singing "La La La" and breaking the law. Maybe she could do a song with Fergie. Maybe they could do a song, like Bananarama or something, Criminalima or something, They've actually got. This is from last year, actually, or 2023. This is from December, so this is last Christmas. It reckons Tory MP Jonathan Gillis says the match of the day host should go up against him at the next general election. So he's actually saying that he should take him on. They should have a contest between each other, right? So, but the newspaper today, which I do not have in front of me, I've just seen it when I went to the shop. I had a look at it on the front cover because there was some stuff about the Archbishop as well on it. Because I heard about the Archbishop on Facebook, but I didn't actually know the particulars of it. But it's something to do with a barrister that he knew or something, and he prevented him from, I don't know, proper evaluation when he'd apparently done something wrong or something. That's what he's resigning over. But I didn't even know about that, to be honest. But the other main newspaper story besides Welby is this Linekar thing, and how they've sold it on the front cover, which I just checked now, and those websites which have today's newspapers haven't been yet updated. It's a bit early. They've still got yesterday's on. But basically, right, what they're saying is, this is how they're selling it on the front cover, whether it's true or not. They're saying, they mention Starmer, and then they're saying that apparently Linekar is, I use the word is, they're reckoning Linekar is going to be the next MP for Labour or something, right? So they're claiming that no, he's going to be it. So they're claiming that, if he's going to be it, then it's already decided apparently. Like they're saying that no, it's going to happen, which this is the type of thing that Kamala Harris claimed that she was going to get rid of. That we on Facebook and YouTube were going to get banned, or as channels pulled down, or videos taken down, if we would say things which either aren't true or aren't lawful. Now, how can you say that someone is going to do something? That means that it's guaranteed. That means that there's no choice. That means that it's inevitable, like it's going to rain, because the weatherman says. That's a forecast. Or it's going to snow on Tuesday. Or, I've got £10 in my bank account. It's meant to, they're selling it as a fact, basically, right? That's illegal for political materials, for elections. They can't say this or that when it hasn't happened, because what they're doing is they're forecasting, which is illegal. And they're mentioning even Starmer has got something to do with it now, saying that I don't know whether I did read it, but now that I've got back, it either said something like, I was just looking for it now. He was saying effectively that Starmer says that Gary Lineker is going to be the next MP, or he should be the next MP, or Lineker is going to be the next MP. And then they were saying something that, they're going to find him a seat in the election that's not contested, or it's like there's no one else contesting it, or there's little competition for it. But how would such a seat come about unless there was someone who was going to stand down, or there was a by-election? And if you have a by-election when Rachel Reeves has still got a Parliament, Rachel Reeves MP channel with, pro-Labour and, down with Tories propaganda, then, that's going to influence it, isn't it? So, when Starmer's speaking, he's meant to be speaking as Prime Minister of England. The government aren't meant to influence the outcome of elections. So how can Starmer even say, if he did say that, or whether the newspapers are just selling it like that, or whether, I will get the newspaper and I'll read it out exactly what it says later. but he said something along the lines of, which I will confirm later or not, that Starmer says that he wants him as the MP, or he's going to be the MP, which means that, but when that's the Prime Minister saying that. That's the Prime Minister saying, oh yeah, we're going to have an MP here for our party, which that's an illegal statement, you know. It actually turns out that, from what I've found out now about elections, you're not allowed to pledge your vote to anyone before the day of the election. And you're not allowed to vote twice in one election, or be polled twice for one election. Now, polled means asked for your vote, or who you're going to vote for. Now, the thing is, you could read that as, you know, you've been to a polling station and cast a vote in that election, which counts. But it's not just a matter of that. If someone asks you who you're going to vote for and you say one way or the other, right? But when it's recorded officially, not like in a pub and your mate says, "Oh, who do you think you're going to vote for?" And you say, "I might vote for, Bob Mortimer or something." No, you've actually made a mark on some paper. You know, if you do a survey, what you're actually doing is you say, "Oh, who you think you're going to vote for this election?" And then you put it on paper and mark it down. What you're actually doing is pledging, right? You're pledging yourself to a particular vote, or saying that you've already decided, right? You're actually casting it. That is actually what the magazines and newspapers are doing. And then they get these figures and then they put them up and they show them to everyone and they say, "Oh, this is, you know, what it's looking like, what the general mood is now." And if it's looking one way or the other, then they can actually use that information and they can say, right, well, we'll make more effort now to try and stop them. If they don't have that information, then they're not sure how much effort they have to make. How do you know how much funds you need? If you haven't seen how everyone's going to vote, right, and everyone's got an equal spending cap, like Labour, Lib Dems and Tory, right, then it's like, oh, you're just getting along, right? But if someone flashes you a chart or an image which is showing that, oh, Lib Dems aren't doing that well at the moment, people aren't liking them, then suddenly they'll try harder and they'll go, oh, we'll try harder. But if they haven't seen that, they wouldn't have tried harder. So how do they know to try harder? It's almost like having that little extra burst. Well, oh, damn, we're doing worse. And then we'll try really hard. And then they'll put extra effort in. And they might not have had much funds, but they'll squeeze more. Although if there's a cap on, they can't go over that. But they might not have gone anywhere near the cap. But then suddenly, if they'd seen those results, they might have had to say, oh, shit, we need to get some more money in. We're not doing that well. So, but why is that? Because they'd seen how they were doing. You know, this is what I've said to Robert Kennedy Jr. It's... What you're doing is you're adjusting as you're going along, but the thing is, it's not meant to be like a horse race. It's not meant to be like, you know, the Grand National when you know that they're going around the race and then, you know, they're holding back and then towards the end they put the extra burst in and then take over the other horse, because you cast your vote in betting, in horse racing. You put your money on first, right? You put your bets on, right? And then that's it. You can't change your mind. That's it. You put your bets on and you're done. And then they run the race, right? Now, if you do... this is the thing. In an election, you're not meant to put your bets down until at the end, right? Until you go into the polling station, and everyone's supposed to equally do it. But you know, how much does each candidate or political party put into it? Well, they've got a spending cap anyway. But this is the thing. They're all meant to really. The reason there's a spending cap is so they're not overly or underly disadvantaged anyway. I know that the Conservative Party has got £5 million donations in a war chest, but I mean, what even do they use that for? You know, if they've got a spending cap, same as the other parties, then what do they do with the excess? Will it just, you know, save them for a few years or what? I mean, what are they even using it for? If they've got a spending cap, that's what I want to know. Not keeping their quotas going. Well, they can't use it in the election. What do they use it for? If they've got spending caps, what is the point in it? I mean, it's just to keep a more fancy headquarters that doesn't actually go into the election. It's just for the party, like a better canteen for Boris to have his Christmas parties in, but doesn't contribute towards the election. Although, if he's been refreshed and he's had a couple of sherries and whiskies at his Christmas party, he might be a little bit braver when he goes up and stands in the election. This is the thing. And actually, there's some posters from the 18 and 1900s which actually confirm this basis from the William III Act, which says that you're not supposed to pledge before a poll, when it actually says that on there. So from between 1688, they got this principle that you're not supposed to pledge before a poll, and then it says it on the poster in 1800. So that's 200 years later, they're saying the same thing, that, they were promised not to pledge their vote before they turn up at the polling station. So if it's tosh, why is it appearing up onto National Archives records, the same basis from 1688 till the 1800s? It can't be tosh if it's a proper election principle that was held for over 200 years. So, I mean, how can the newspapers go around getting everyone to cast a vote or make a pledge or how they're going to vote when they turn up? And this is the thing. The press is swaying it, because all the press are doing is talking about these particular people, and it's all. And then everyone else talks about those particular people. They're actually guiding the conversation. This is the thing. It's Lee Anderson, or Tice or Farage or whatever. They're actually steering it, and you might say, well, it's it's a bit of impartiality. We'll let Sunak go on TV for a while, and then let Starmer go on for TV for a while. But I mean, fair enough, on that programme where they had like each of the leaders of the parties answering questions or something like that. But it's not just that. They're actually getting them on chat shows and all kinds of things now, like Moggs presenting. You're not supposed to provide entertainment in exchange for votes. How is Mogg not breaking the rules when he was presenting a entertainment show, getting paid for it, right? And then it's not like, it's not like the turning off the TV signal in Wiltshire, is it, or wherever he's in Bristol South. Oh yeah, Mogg can be on GB News, but the transceiver's turned off in his own ward, so he won't be entertaining those people. This is the thing. It's all wrong, and it's because of it's a lazy button. It's too easy to reach your hand out and eat the chocolates, and it's too easy to press record and go on social media. It's too easy to resist, and the ones who seem to be drawn into the limelight are the MPs, because they in fact, they've been pulled into the limelight by producers who just want to make the shows more entertaining, like Strictly Come Dancing or whatever. They're pulling them in, but they're not just being pulled in. They know they're up against more of a diverse audience that has got more of a voice anyway now. So they need to try and keep hold of the levers somewhat, rather than it being taken over by different fractions, like what's happening in America now. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Tucker Carlson and Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson, and pretty much it's not just cable TV anymore. It's the whole thing. So the whole thing's changed because of a new invention, but the effects are still the same as telegram, telephone, radio, and having three main TV stations. It's just that now the temptation to break the rules is so great that people aren't being able to resist it, and they've just got carried away with it. And unfortunately, the whole boat's rocking all over the place now, and the principle and rules are still in effect. But no one cares. No one's bothered. Either they're going to have to scrap the whole thing and not have political parties, or they're just going to have to sort out not having MPs and just having government staff who execute things based on voting, based on what they've got set up now on the website in Wales, which they're hinting at with the proportional representation, with like online polling in counties and wards where it tells you how many percentage of people voted for this or that, and then the government have to do it purely based on votes. But they don't like that because they can't strategically plan then, because then actual people are actually voting on what they actually want, and you haven't got this corporate entity who is, oh, well, we'll have 10 McDonald's here and 15 there, then we'll have a railway through here, and then we'll have, wind farms here and there, and then I'll build my space station, and then we'll take over the Chinese, and we'll have 15 warships, and then, planning to take over the world. They can't do that because everyone's voting on because the factory developers' vote then is one vote. Same as each, because then Jeff Bezos's vote is equal to someone who's packing widgets in his factory's vote, and Bezos don't like that because then he can't strategically plan taking over the world, right? But everyone in the village then doesn't have to have a housing estate built next to them, doesn't have to have planes flying over the top of them, doesn't have to have cars driving past all night, doesn't have to have an invasion from overseas, doesn't have to send an army to start a war and an invasion overseas. Right? People just what happens is people end up voting mainly for peace and quiet, like in Scotland, where it's not quite as bad as here because they've got less people and more countryside. And even though Glasgow and Edinburgh did end up getting overdeveloped, whatever, it's not as bad. Well, ask Neil Oliver, But some people say that Scotland's backwards and it's got rubbish schools and people are drunk and they're fighting all the time. But I don't necessarily think that's the case. I just think that they get bad publicity. I think, Scotland is probably a lot happier in some instances. It's just in the urban areas. It's only in the urban areas, like in the cities, where it's worse. That's the problem. What's the alternative? What they're trying to do with Lee Anderson and people like that is they're trying to move the politicians out of Parliament and into kind of like this sort of studio television, Jeremy Vine bouncing up and down with a graph behind him type thing, or Prime Minister's questions to guests. But, you can't have surgery with Sunak through a private business. It's a privately owned TV station, and they're letting people have a surgery with the Prime Minister. He's answering questions, and he says that he'll get back to him later on it. That's a private surgery. It's not even funded by the taxpayer. It's unfair to people who are waiting for appointments to see their MP, and it's not through the government process of meeting MPs, which is meant to be legally privileged items and information, like that Runcorn MP who punched somebody out because they was following him around and looking through his window. So it's all illegal. The whole thing's gone illegal because they don't really know what they're doing, because they're on TV laughing gas, and they're all sat with Nigel Farage having a pint on TV getting pissed. They don't even know what laws they're breaking. And the Electoral Commission haven't even got a clue what they're doing either, because they're like Jonathan freaking Swift in the Boundary Commission. They've got their job through doing dodgy deals in courts, getting ULEZ put through when they previously worked in government finance. This is the thing. It's all corrupted. So I don't know what we're going to do. And then we've got, we're split because there are people who want to jump in front of the TV and have everyone sat in an audience. They think that the best thing to do in the world is sit, not facing each other, sit all facing one direction, not at each other, in some kind of stadium box, like the stadium box in the abyss, the stadium box in the desert with nothing in front of it. I can't think of anything better to do than sit in a stadium box, sat next to a lot of people, facing the desert, and then just laugh, pass me some popcorn, or the stadium box in the Abyss. Ooh, the Abyss ride, there's nothing here at all. I'm not even sat facing anyone, we're all sat facing forward, This is a problem with it, rather than actually being in communities, doing actual things with people playing music and walking about and around. I mean, at least at Glastonbury, it's a bit better, This is what George Galloway is really passionate about, this socialism. But I don't think the current TV is socialist. It's not socialism, it's populism. It's like face the front. That's what it's about. It's about face the front. Well, where's the front? Who's at the front? Well, the superstar's at the front. You're facing him. Face the front, right? You're at the back. This is the thing. Oh, I care about my audience, and each and every single one of them. I'm going to thank them personally. All 569 million of them form a queue. You know what? They love me that much that they know it's okay. We don't have to shake hands or meet each other. This is the thing. Well, what's the point in being there then? This is, I think the time of Labour Party has been and gone when they were all in the working men's clubs and they were all socialising and tallying up the votes and getting to work and then getting, maybe they've sobered up a bit, maybe now they've stopped smoking, instead they're getting angry and they're not chilled out anymore. Maybe banning smoking was a bad thing because now they've, not all calm and cool. Now they're getting annoyed and ripping surveillance cameras down and doing protests all around London. Who knows? But I can't think of anything worse in the whole world to be sat in a stadium box. Even in Rome, they had a circle, and the citizens were like above, and the gladiators were at the bottom. And I think even the Caesars box was at the bottom at the front, right? Near, I'm going to check. I might be wrong about that. It might have been at the top. But I think it might have been at the bottom, but just like at the near wherever or whatever, at the front, at the bottom. Then I was thinking, well, aren't football stadiums a bit like that? Then I thought, well, no, because they're square. They're not round, are they? Firstly, they're square. And then you've got the VIP thing, which is right kind of high up. And the VIP thing is... I don't think the VIP thing is the equivalent of what the C's used to have, because I think it was like kind of like at the bottom at the front, more like the manager's place. It wasn't like this kind of VIP place. Maybe they had similar to that. They had some places at the top which were pretty far out, but it's there's definitely, the auditorium was kind of built, and I think they weren't all facing one direction. Everyone was facing each other. There's something different. There's definitely something very different about the television and this television studio than the Colosseum. There's a marked difference. Firstly, the Colosseum, it can actually only fit so many people in it, so you've got a maximum capacity. Theoretically on TV, you don't have a maximum capacity until you sell more TV sets, And also, another thing is there's a lot of competition and competing on TV as well. They're all trying to compete for everyone to watch the same thing. But, the Colosseum, they can only fit so many people in, and that's it. It's got, 20,000 people are into this or that, and the rest of them aren't, So that's it. But I think this, imagine if, because to equal what the TV is doing now, it would be, it would have had to have fit the whole city in, which it can't possibly fit the whole city in. It's not possible. It won't be big enough, or else it would be as big. It would be the city. It's not the city, is it? And this is, it all figures into this whole food and health and hygiene issue and the rest of it. Not saying that there aren't people who don't go out and do things, but I don't know. It's all, I think that the problem with these TV women is that, oh, it's okay, it's great, come on, it's, oh, come on, have your your half an hour, your hour of excitement. But it's not just, it's like some kind of thrill rush. It's kind of like, you might as well just, someone jack up an heroin, and say, oh, let's have a whitey or whatever, or you call it, and then, oh, that's exciting, But the thing is, it's, everyone, they want everyone to go on there and have their little, oh, come and have a go on this, like having a go on the roller coaster, innit? Come and have a go at this, be cheered. Everyone needs to have, the entire country, worshipping them for at least 10 seconds, and then you've had your fix for the week now. This is it. It's just another thing, like, a fairground and all things like that are like, it's in excess. But then it moves on to every single thing being in excess, like, oh, let's go and like excess junk food, then it's excess holidays, and then it's always something or other in excess rather than just like in moderation. That's the problem.